My name's Alex. I didn't know he was going to go like live.
Let's do it all the time. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
My name's Sol.
My name's Alex.
And we are two English guys who've both built 5-figure-a-month online businesses. And in this video,
we're going to be talking about personal branding, life, growth, people back home, influencers, and pretty much anything in our journey of where we've gone from in being back home to where we are now, the challenges we have now and the challenges we had then. Just a little bit of a ramble so you can guys get an insight to our life and the journeys we've been on.
we want to be super honest. We're both not about the Lambo boy, Dubai lifestyle. We're sat here in Cape Town, loving life, and we're going to go through everything that we just, let's change that. We want to give an authentic take on what life is like in online business from two very normal English guys. As you said, Alex is going to get, as Alex said, we're going to get into some very exciting stuff, and we look forward to catching the video.
Peace.
Wait, actually, give context for anyone who hasn't watched you.
Oh yeah, I forget when we're recording.
Yeah, so do I.
I've got a mic on.
Yeah, you're good.
For anyone watching, right, me and Sol will probably just forget you're there. We'll try our best.
That's
but when we get going, it's kind of like a 4 hours conversation.
Amanda, you need to make sure that we stop at like 5 to.
Oh yeah, am I able to get water before we start?
We can just chat shite.
Before we get into it,
yeah. Amanda, would you mind just going to fill up one of the bottles?
I'm on like green piss mode.
In the kitchen, there's maybe fill up that one.
Appreciate you, bro.
Mate, awesome. Just like a few bits, and we can chat. Sorry, go back to the lovely audience to tell me.
Oh yeah, what context on me? Who I am?
Yeah, give some context.
My name's Alex Shaw. Everyone thinks I'm called Alex Ben Shaw, and I've kind of You see, even you didn't know. My name's Alex Shaw, but my Instagram handle is Alex Ben Shaw, and it just sounds way better. It's actually my middle name. Everyone calls me that, and I'm just kind of running with it because it sounds better. But
mind blown.
I met Sol in Bali like a year ago, and that's when I got hit with about fucking 40 of his ads. And he came to the run club when I was running it, and we got good mates from them playing a lot of paddle. And I help business owners with their personal brand. I'm launching a new group for guys at the beginning stage as well, but majorly just kind of focusing on building people's personal brands, building a business from it, how to connect with people. My sort of approach to personal branding is I kind of really focus on, like, without sounding techie, it's like viewer psychology, like really how to connect with your audience, really how to build trust, more so than just getting viewers, followers, and then, trying to sell shit to someone who doesn't really care. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's pretty much it. Me and Sol kind of connected as well because we had a similar journey. Yeah. So actually he was watching, he was a fanboy at one point.
I'm still a fanboy. I'm still a fanboy, mate. Don't you worry about it.
But yeah, me and Sol had a similar upbringing from going into the corporate world, not liking it, jumping out to Bali, becoming a Bali boy.
Imagine.
and then fast forward a year, now we're in Cape Town, living it up.
Tell me about the business journey. I want to know, like, from video posting all the way to helping some pretty cool people.
Okay, video post. Oh, this is a great story. Video posting. I first posted my ever piece of content when I was in lockdown. Posted maybe like 20 videos, like cringy as fuck TikToks, but they didn't really get views, so I stopped. Then when I went to Australia 2 years later, like after university, that was first year university. And then after university, I went to Australia. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is my time. I'm going to become a creator. Like, I've always wanted to be a creator. Like, I've always wanted to be a content creator.
Yeah.
And I went to Australia and I was making montages, doing whatever else. That lasted about 4 videos and I was like, fuck, none of these are popping, so I just had to focus on work.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, I was working on a place called Hamilton Island, and I think I've told you already about this. It's a 6-star island in the Great Barrier Reef, and I was living there. If I made content for that 6 months, oh my God, it would have been insane. But I gave up because I didn't get results. Anyway, another year's gone past. I've come home after traveling and didn't really like being at home. Left 1 year later to Mexico, and I was like, okay, Alex, sit the fuck down, okay, right? We have to make this content shit work because we've tried so many times before. Everything else we do, we don't enjoy. So I'm going to post until I figure out what the fuck actually happens and how to actually connect with people. I posted for maybe about 8 to 10, 10 months without getting like any single viral video, any engagement, whatever else, just posting. And I remember getting so many people being like, what's actually doing? Like, I don't really know what his vibe is. All the people at home, wasn't really growing, but I was still vibing. Like, I was appointment setting at a time, and eventually I had a video do quite well, and it was the first video I was ever vulnerable and speaking on like people back home and whatnot. And I was like, interesting. Didn't realize it at the time. Then that was the reason why everyone liked it. Just seeing a video, I was like, I'm going to speak more on like things back home. Started to get the more vulnerable, and the more I spoke about the things I struggled with, more so than the things I thought would look cool so that people would like me because I was living a good lifestyle in Thailand, but actually on the realness of my life and what happened instead of just being in these places. That's when my brand started to really grow, really grow. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna double the fuck down and do like 6 hours a day on figuring this shit out, like from the vulnerable standpoint. And my brand kind of just took off. I was doing a series called Game of Life, and it was so good, like it genuinely was, but it literally took me like 5-6 hours to edit every video every day. I was basically working in my job part-time and full-time creating.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, this has to fucking work. Yeah. And I grew to like 16,000 followers in like 3 months from it. And then I had a period where I had like 10 million views in 3 months. And I was like, this is it, I'm fucking crushing it. But I was still making no money from content and I needed to leave sales. And I was like, fuck, okay, so what do we do now? We've got this following, we've got this brand. We know what works with content. We've seen what gets the most engagement. We've seen what sort of, because the first kind of event of like, oh, I can make a business out of this was I was getting people DM me just from that series, the one you was referencing. People were leaving their jobs, like leaving toxic relationships, like flying away, one-way tickets. And I was like, these people are literally watching, again, a 1 minute long, 1 minute 30 long video of me screaming at the camera. And they're making actual life decisions, proving it and showing me. And there's like 12 people that did that. And I was like, if I had 12 clients that trusted me or did these things, like I'd be making a pretty good living sort of thing. It's like, instead of focusing on like just lifestyle and like decisions and life and inspiration and growth, I was like, how can I turn that into, a business? So now, fast forward, because I could go into like another 20 minutes spiel on that. Fast forward to now, I've now worked with a total of 11 business owners. I'm currently working with 5 at the moment. Some of the results I've got is I brought one of my good friends, Lewis. Well, he's actually one of my good friends because of how well he did. He started.
It's like this guy's incredible.
No, as in like he actually was doing my taxes first.
Oh yeah.
And he was giving me all these problems because this is a whole like. Actually, I'll tell this story. It's an incredible story. Basically, the universe started my business, and we're going to go into that. So
I love that.
I left. Had to leave sales in 2 days because my friend who I was working with was going to leave, and I've been working with him for the last year. Our boss didn't really like hires, which is why the business was so cushy, because we just knew we were going to be there. Yeah. But then when my friend was leaving, I was like, fuck, I've got a week to figure out what I need to do, because it's not going to make the same money when he's gone, because he was a closer, and my boss wouldn't have hired.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to do a visa run from Bali. I went to Vietnam, and Lewis, who was doing my tax at the time, was like, oh, I'll come visit you. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Because he's in Da Nang, so it was like 3-hour flight or 2-hour flight, and he flew in for literally the day and booked it the day before I came. And I was like, at the time, I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know anyone in Vietnam. I was like, sick, come down.
Yeah.
Now I look back at it, and then when I asked him on it, even 5 months later, I was like, why did you do that? He's like, it's pretty gay actually. Why did I do that? I love that. He's like, I wouldn't travel for a bloke. It was just, it didn't make sense.
And
we spent the day doing like roaming around Vietnam, hired these 2 taxi drivers, and just, it was so funny. Anyway, we had like a 2-hour conversation about how I could genuinely help him with his content, just naturally. I was like, all these things that he was struggling with. I was like, well, because you're not focusing on this, this, and this. You're showing up as someone else. Like, you have the friction you're finding, all that. Basically just diagnosed what was wrong with his business. But I had no business at the time. And then I got home and I was like, you know what? I've got fucking nothing to lose. Like, I've just left my job. Something has to work. So I just messaged him. I was like, look, bro, I'm not trying to close you, but I semi kind of am. Like, I think I can help you, like, really help you. And then anyway, he got on a call, went over things, and 3 months later, his business went from 12K to 65K in a single month, which is like the catapult of where this is. And then other guys that I've worked with business owners where they've had no business, they then hit 8,000 a month in literally 47 days. I've had other business owners that have come to me from fitness coaches, go from like 3 to 10 to 3 to 12. Guys hitting 50,000 views, videos plus consistently, all whilst telling the story and building trust. But the whole focus I have on people is not to go viral or to funnel into paid ads, which we will do essentially, to elevate. But my whole focus is how you can grow organically and focus on who the fuck you are as like the core, and then build your brand through that. And then you can focus on hooks, strategy, ads, after you figure out what the fuck you're building this thing for, who you actually are, and what makes you unique. That's the core of everything. All the guys I work with have seen mad results from doing that. And now I lead a very fulfilling business because we focus on that as its
sick.
standpoint.
It's crazy to think like that conversation that we had a few months ago versus like now. It's crazy. It's like that was the one where you were like, I don't know whether I'm gonna get into online business. Like, you obviously the coaching space, you were like, oh, I'm not sure if it's the thing. I think that's like one of the
4 minutes to do 4.
Yeah, sorry, an hour.
Oh, yeah.
You're good, bro. Because I think it's so interesting that like one of the reasons I thought it'd be such a good conversation to have is maybe some people listening, but like we're English guys and all of the space is like Dutch guys, Miami bros, like all that sort of thing. And it's so refreshing to meet people who are just like normal fucking people who are making money online, living in Cape Town, all that sort of thing. So that's one of my favorite things about like chatting about this. So how do you feel in the space when you're not resonating with all these guys who are just flexing their watches?
Well, you see, that's a great point that you mentioned, because when we first spoke, I was like, I don't know if I want to go into the coaching space. I don't know if I build a business like this way. Like, I kind of just want to be a creator, use a low ticket products. It wasn't the fact that I was scared of helping people and making money. It was because I wanted to oppose so much from these people and these Miami bros and whatever else you just mentioned. Yeah. I was so against them that I didn't want to become them. And I attached this idea that if I started making money online as a coach or selling this sort of like line of work, that I would be seen the same way as them. And I was like, the last thing I ever want to do is be seen anywhere like them, which is why I oppose it so much. But you made a good point at the time, being like, it's not actually that. You just get so much fulfillment out of helping people. And over time, that is actually how I built my business, is like so much on the anti-guru positioning.
Yeah.
And what I actually get all my guys to do when they come in is like, instead of telling people, which is what all the gurus do, it's like you actually show them, like staying level with them. And it's like this few steps ahead positioning instead of being someone who's figured it out and had it all perfect, because so many of us think that we need to be perfect to show and to build trust, which is what all these guys do. They just show the wins, the villas, the lifestyle, the watches, the hills, the bitches. But what we focus on and what we enjoy is so much away from that, which is like, I still built the business the way, like the coaching business, but just completely focusing so hard on opposing them.
The thing that I'm so interested by is I think most people start being like, I want to do that. I think most people are genuinely quite good people, and they're like, all right, I want to build a business which is very fun, very, very fulfilling. And then it's like, at what point do people lose the like, I'm going to scale? Because I've met people who are making $1 million or $2 million a month that still have that. So I know it doesn't go, but I also think there's a lot of people who you and I both know who at some point were like, okay, this is super fulfilling. And then at some point just went, fuck it, I'm just going to go hard on the Lambos. I'm going to get rid of all my fulfillment. I'm going to do that.
Just keep marketing.
How do you like, firstly, how does that happen? And secondly, how do we not end up like that?
We will never end up like that because we're so anchored in the fact we don't want to be that, and our whole businesses are being built off that mind, like of that. Essentially, it's a fear.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have that fear because it guides me into the decisions I make. Because I'm so scared of becoming that. Every decision I make is like against that. So I believe that will always align me away from there. So I know I will never get to that point. Yeah. Even so, when I said to you, I want to limit myself making certain amounts of money because I believe that because this thing, how do we stop ourselves?
Sure.
In my mind, I'm like, well, what if I make 50,000 and then I just slowly veer into it? That's why this whole, every time me and Saul meet, we have this one conversation about making money. And like, I put a cap on myself because of these gurus and the going down that route. And the great question Saul asked there about how do you oppose that? In my mind for so long, I was like, well, if I make this much money, I might just fucking get a Lambo. Yeah. I don't think I won't.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's just this one fear. It's like, well, again, I don't actually have an answer to your first question because I don't know where people lose it. So in my mind, it's like, well, I've not had that level of money. And maybe I don't think that'll ever in a million years happen to me. Yeah. But maybe these guys didn't either.
But that's what's scary. Like,
and that's what my fear is I can't make more than 20,000.
Imagine just one day you turn around and someone goes, oh, like fucking Sol and Alex, they're those gurus who have just like that's the actual fear. I think it's impossible to do something at scale and not have like complaints. One of my biggest fears was, I tell you a really good story. So one of my clients and also a really good friend of mine, a guy called Harry, has a long COVID offer. He had long COVID and like suffered from it. Yeah, like so he helps people get over long COVID, which is crazy, right? Okay. And he even remember we're live by the way.
Yeah, no,
so he helps people get over long COVID, and it's genuinely like it has crazy impacts.
Wait,
like,
what's long COVID?
So long COVID is where you have, like, I'm gonna do it wrong. You basically get like nervous system damage, and you're.
It's like it's different to COVID.
Yeah. So you get it, okay. And then you get this like this trauma response to it.
Okay.
It's effectively like PTSD. You get PTSD.
So it's like a right.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you.
So like,
I'm assuming when I heard long COVID, I didn't distinguish the difference between just like normal COVID,
which is one of the problems that he has, right? Because there's so much like stigma around it and stereotypes.
That's probably why I was literally
Exactly
like,
right. Yeah, exactly. So I've never met a single person in my whole entire life who cares more about like his clients, because he's like, it's literally helping people who have the same problem that he has. And then I've seen him have a Reddit thread made about him, about how he's like a scammer and how he's just trying to make money from these people. And I'm telling you, like, I have had so many chats with him where he talks about like trying to not come across like this person and how do I make my program better, and me being like, you need to make your program better, but we need to focus on actually getting more clients and making more money and all that sort of thing. I've never met a person who hates making money more and just wants to help people more. He has this Reddit thread which goes, this guy's a scammer, this guy's trying to like, and I got to the point where I was like, I don't think you can avoid it at some point. Because at some point, you're going to have someone who's unhappy. And then the other thing I related to
Was
is like...
it from a person who just seen him online or someone who worked?
Someone who saw him online. Someone who saw him online. But then the other thing, so I think it's the online thing, that's very hard to avoid because you're naturally going to have people who are skeptical. The other problem is that what business in the world operates with 100% customer satisfaction?
Oh, never.
Like,
but the thing is, there's only so many businesses that operate with 100% founder-led, content-driven, like putting yourself out there. Like the majority of these businesses will just have like teams, as in like corporate businesses. Whereas like we are literally the face of it. And when you say the face of the business, no, it's like you are the business. Like this is your entire thing, and to market your business, you're marketing yourself. Which is the personal brand aspect. You take all accountability, you take all shots at you. Instead of having like, oh, it's my team or whatever else, or like the business needs to evaluate. It's like, no, this guy's like it's all on that. So if one person's opinion changes, it's literally all Hail Mary on that one person they could look to. Because it's like, you have to take accountability for everything. So as soon as one bad comment goes, they come for everything.
Yeah, but that's the hard thing. But it's like, if you went to Tesco and you got a shit like drink, you just leave a bad review on Tesco. And it's like, instead it's like, if you see your video, you're like, I don't like that guy's video. Immediately it's like, this guy fucking sucks. I hate his accent. Like, his teeth are too nice. All that sort of thing. Like all of that stuff. But I'm like, that... I think it's very hard to avoid. Even some of the best programs that I know that have literally changed people's lives will still have a few comments where people are like, this guy's a fucking scammer. So maybe that's how I justify it in my head.
Justify what though? As in like to never avoid the criticism, or so that you will, no matter what you do and how good you try and focus your program to be, that you will never be able to fully be exempt from this.
It's impossible.
Of course it's impossible. Like someone's gonna... How you handle it is then what makes I think like a good judgment of who you are. If you're getting all this hate, but then you can clearly... I don't know. It is a hard question, but you'll never ever truly be able to avoid.
I can tell you actually a really personal story, which is crazy to me. So I had one client who was a friend of mine before he was a client, and he joined, and he had an offer where he was like, he refused to do high ticket pricing. He was like, I'm going to charge £50 an hour, and I was like, how much money do you want to make? He was like, I want to make 20k a month. I was like, that's literally mathematically impossible to make that in a month.
How many hours
It's like, what, 400 hours a month? I was just like, you want to do 400 one-on-ones in a month, so 100 one-on-ones a week for half an hour, an hour. And anyway, like, he just couldn't get it. And he then, after 3 months, said to me, like, look, Sol, like, I want a refund. Like, I don't think this program's going to work for me. And I was like, are you saying that you still want to make 20k a month? And I was like, yes. I delivered him 3.5 months out of 4 months of the program. He was like, I want a refund. I was like, no. Like, you've worked with me for 3.5 months, and right at the end, you want a refund. Now I probably would give a refund because of the like, I think it's just easier on my headspace. But then I like met someone the other day and they were like, oh yeah, this guy's been going around saying like, I'm a scammer. And I was like, scammer because of what? Like, I pointed out that like your logic doesn't make any sense. And that also made me realize like, sometimes you just can't control people. You just can't control people being...
Was that one of your first guys you did get on?
Right at the start.
Because one thing that I also learned from the few guys that I've worked with is like, I started bringing on a lot of stuff and the guys are great, but I started doing loads more work than I wanted to, and like I didn't manage expectations. One thing I'm really trying to focus on in my content now is making it like, it's not something I've been able to do as much because I've not been as active with content.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now that I've had this time to think whilst I've been busy with the work that I've created for myself, it's like I want to be so hyper specific in what I say in my content to attract the right people.
Yeah.
So that when someone comes in and I'm like, you're going to have to do what I say, otherwise you're not going to get the result. And if you don't do what I say, then the result is not going to come.
Which is crazy that there's this misunderstanding of that. Like, you don't imagine thinking you buy a gym membership and you're suddenly gonna have a six pack. It's like you gotta fucking go to the gym. Like, you don't just get a six pack. So yeah, it is frustrating. Have you found like the first, you say 11 clients, right? Like, have you found making sure that they obviously, like, you and I both know you get good results and you're good at what you do. Have you found like translating what you know to other people?
I'll be completely honest. When I'm in a position like this and we're running it back and forth, it's easy. What I have found a little bit difficulty with, it's what I'm trying so hard to do now, and this positioning and what I get all my clients to do. Getting it for my clients is easy because I look at it from their perspective, right? I look at it logically instead of emotionally. So like when I want to get across all my knowledge without sounding salesy, I know how I sound. So it's like, this doesn't sound like me. Whereas when I tell my clients, it's like, no, just fucking say this, be like this, position it that way. Now, the problem I have is trying to get people across to truly approach content in a different way because they've all been doing it for so long in a certain way. Like, well, this guy's making like this guy's successful. Like, I want to be like this guy. And like a lot of what guys come to me with is their favorite creators who've had personal brands for like 6, 7, 8 years. They try and copy what they do. Like someone who say, for example, an example I always like to make is like with Hormozy. If you try and copy a Hormozy video, it's like a 25-second clip of him speaking on business. Like, he's going to get views because it's Hormozy, you know his face, he's built that credibility. But if you try and give the same business tips with no authority in there, it's like, well, why is this not working for me? You've got to do things to actually buy someone into you first before you can deliver that. And a lot of people just be like, well, I'm delivering my service. Like, people can see the results I'm getting. Like, why are people not buying from me? And a big thing that I try and teach within my content and trying to demonstrate it is that your first thing you need to do is connect with a person first to actually allow them to trust you. Facts. So when you deliver the value, when you show yourself as an authority, when you show your expertise, they are more likely to listen than just feel like they're sold to. And then when you shove a client result down their neck, they don't feel, again, oh, this guy's trying to sell me. It's like, oh, this guy's actually solving problems. They view it in a completely different way because you've already bought the trust from connecting with them. But I see so many people that come to me and they don't focus on anything other than just like value, tips, hacks, tactics, look at my results, blah, 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 clients. And then they're like, well, why is no one coming to me? I'm just look at all these mad results I'm getting. Why can't I grow? It's like, well, just be a fucking human. You're not a business. Like, my whole approach is like, everything you do is combined. Like, you are a human, you're also a business owner. So show both at the same time. And if you don't do that, if you just show yourself just as a human, let's say, and just trying to connect, then you won't sell anything. And then you also, at the same time, you might get people on board who do believe in you, but to get a wider audience believing in you, you have to do both. If you miss either one, then you limit yourself either side. That's probably the biggest thing that I teach straight away from it, is like, you need to, everything you want to get across, everything who you are needs to show within content. The reason why we get along is like, if we're on camera or if we're not, we don't even know the camera. I know the camera's there, so I'm pointing to it, but like, the way we are off camera is the exact same way we are on camera.
Absolutely.
And like, that's the whole approach. And so many people kind of struggle with, they try and be someone they're not on camera. And I did this for a long time as well, because they think that that's what's going to sell, that's what's going to get authority, that's what's going to get people bought into them, instead of just being who they actually are. And it creates this disconnect, and then there's all this little funny...
How do you get people to be more like themselves on camera, or how, like, just basically more authentic?
A lot of the stuff I do for like Done For You clients is scripted, but one thing that I've actually found in my program that I've started to do is, if they aren't natural on camera, then the first videos I will do is all unscripted. It's like, this is what you got to speak about. This is the flow. Do it. And they're like, I'm not good on camera. I'm like, good. You're going to have to get good on camera before, because when I script reels of people, I will always script them in a spoken manner. I will write how I speak, not write how you write. So then when you are writing off a script and you know it, you can still speak conversationally. So it doesn't feel like a script. Yet at the same time, if someone's not good on camera, no matter what you write for them, they'll always speak like it's staged. So the main thing, and I didn't do this for a while, and it did. It did limit results for a while, because I was like, I'll give someone a script, and then it just wouldn't come across natural. I'm like, why are you not natural? And I'm like, okay, let me take a step back. How can we do this? And it's like, people need to get used to just being themselves on camera, with it on here or not. Like, even if I'm pointing to it or not, I'm still speaking the exact same way. And I like long form for that matter, exactly. But short form, I believe, you can cage yourself in. That's an issue I've had. Because you know you're trying to squeeze everything into a minute.
So tough.
Like, for example, I know this is rolling for like 4 fucking hours, so I'm like, I'll say whatever.
Yeah.
But when you have got this like constraint in your mind, I need to make a reel out of this. You might stumble on words that you just never would stumble on. Like, if I'm just speaking, normally I'm flowing. But if you're on a reel, it's like...
It's so interesting how that happens to people. It's like, I know so many people who cannot deliver anything to a camera. And I'm like, mate, I've listened to you speak for half an hour at this
and then you just
table.
Turn the button on.
Yeah. It's so weird, isn't it?
But it's hard. It is hard, and I can't really put like it's because of this.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, you know that this camera is people.
Yeah.
And you know that you have 1 minute.
That's the problem.
And it's like, I think it's a multitude of those things that just kind of like gives you somewhat stage fright, despite there being no stage. And
But that's why everyone loves long form, because it gives them the excuse to just chat
I'll be using
shit.
this.
Like,
I'll be using this.
Exactly. But it means you can just be yourself, which is nice. But I think you have to earn the right for people to watch your long form by being good at short form. And that's the thing that, like, someone actually asked me on the live stream a bit earlier. They were like, do you think I should start with YouTube or like Instagram? And I was like, there's just no point in starting with YouTube, because why the fuck would I watch someone who I've never seen before for 30 minutes? Like, you're going to have to give me the single best title and thumbnail for me to ever be interested. Whereas, like, fuck, I've watched 10 hours, or like, let's say, I don't know, 15 of your reels. Immediately, I'm like, okay, now it's actually worth watching your time. So I'd say, like, anyone listening, so interesting. It's like, you might hear us yapping like this, but very kindly, you're only listening to me and Alex, probably because of the fact you've seen one of us on short form, and you're like, oh, I actually think I'm interested in this. Yeah.
Can you combine it?
With what?
Like, do you do double ones?
On what?
Like, if you just share it with me or not?
I have no idea.
Okay, no, it's all good. No worries.
That's round 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and that's we can collab on the video. But yeah, that's the thing that I find fascinating with the short form versus long form stuff. But people get weird about it. Go.
What do you prefer?
I love long form.
I love it, bro. I just released a YouTube video. And like, I went to a guy and he was like, we're going to get this to 10 minutes. And if at worst, we're going to do 15. I was like, yeah, calm. The video came out in 24 minutes. And he like cut so much. And I was like, shit. But it's just like, when you're speaking, you get, like, for example, this somewhat made up stage fright that we mentioned. Once you get past like minute 1 or 2, and you're just rambling, you're like, oh, I'm in flow state.
Yeah,
and you forget. And that's what, and then you get passionate speaking on things you actually care about, like we are now. And that's why I like it so much, because it's like, you're still delivering value, you're still making content, but there's no friction and there's no weight over what you're speaking. You just are allowed to be you. And if someone's then actually watching for that, instead of how best you can format that into a short form, edited, super fast reel, it's so much more free and it's so much more enjoyable.
That's why lives are like my new favourite toy, because it's like, it's even less scripted. Like, it's even. I
love it.
There's no.
We're doing it 20 minutes and we're getting like.
There's not like, it is so good. But then I think you end up getting to the point where, like, for example, I look at my retention graphs on YouTube now and I'm like, no one enjoyed me rambling on that subject. Like, I was in free flow, like flow state, and you just see like cliff. It's like, fuck.
So how was that one? Is it like starting off really high and then people are like, oh, this guy's going to talk for 4 hours?
You always get like, it's just like, is this guy really serious? Is he 4 hours? But then it's so funny because I'll mention certain things. Like, I'll mention, oh yeah, by the way, like, I'll mention Alex is coming in and dropped. No, we'll have peaks when people come in, which was good. But it's crazy because the last live stream I did last week, and this is why I say to anyone, like, it's the best thing ever, is I had 225 people watch the whole thing, 4 hours, and the average watch time was like 50, I think it was 10 minutes or 8 minutes, between 10 and 8 minutes, which is like, if you think about capturing 220 people for 10 or 8 minutes, it sounds like it's nothing.
No, bro,
but it's like crazy amount of trust built.
If I get 200 views on a YouTube video, I'm like, sick.
Yeah.
If I get 5,000 views on Instagram reel, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But also 200 views on a YouTube video.
It's insane.
If you're getting 200 views on a YouTube video, which is like, let's say it's like 20 minutes long, the average watch time will be like 1 minute, 2 minutes, which is interesting.
Got you. So you're basing it off like the time you had. Obviously, you want to get as much watch time as possible to build that trust. Because that's one thing you go on about a lot as well. Obviously, we're in different business models or similar, for
Yeah.
example, but the main key factor is the trust side of things,
Yeah.
which is interesting because it's because we're so much anti-guru that we have the same
Facts.
thing. And we've never actually spoken on
Yeah.
like similar methodologies.
Yeah.
But it's like, because we're so against that, it's probably
Yeah.
what positions us so much up for. Just fucking, please, I'm real. Boys, I'm begging, I'm actually
Please
going
trust
out.
me.
It's like, I'm actually sound.
Yeah. But I'm sure that's what a lot of people end up like finding when they work with you and stuff, is that you're like, this is fucking serious.
Yeah.
Like this guy's the same person. I think the way, because you, like, what would you, if you were to, as you say, mine's trust, and then there's obviously loads off that in terms of what that means, but like if you were to sum up in like a sentence where you're like, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm specialized in, what would you say?
I'm good at making personal brands that focus on connection.
Yeah.
That's like, because trust comes from, again, the trust is a byproduct of the connection you have with someone. Like, you only trust someone once you've connected with them. Like, fuck, oh my God, Sol, you was in the same job as me. Like, you also hated corporate, and you also went to Bali, and like, I connect with you. I don't necessarily trust you yet. Like, oh, this guy gets me. Like, I resonate with you. You see more and more content of that. You see more and more things of me showing the journey I went on, the struggles I went through, the experiences I had, the shared moments, and then you slowly begin to build trust. But the connection is the forefront of everything that trust is built on.
Yeah.
Like, trust is just from the amount of times you've connected with someone. The way I kind of like to speak on it is something I'm trying to get my clients on now, and the more and more I go down this route, the more I understand like the reason behind why it works. It's like, you try and think of like connective points. So like, if we have a shared moment, that's like a connection. Then it's like, if we grew up in a similar area, that's another connection. And as many connections as you get is then what builds ultimate, say, trust. Like, this is when you've achieved trust. So you've got so many connection points. So like, that's why I'm saying my tagline that I'm running in like right now, whilst I build this new, like, not necessarily rebrand, but as I start to really focus on personal branding and move out of this creative focus, is that personal branding is just human connection on a digital scale. The next is like, it's just an extension of who you are as a human being, and then you need to focus on who you are offline as the exact same person as who you are online. Those 3 sentences are like literally encompassing everything I try and teach and try and show within long form, short form. And then from that, you then build a fuck ton of trust from like that level approach.
That's so good, because I remember I remember being in Bali when your reels were just like banging, like over and over again, banging. And I told you this, like, I had friends at home who were like, "Oh, have you seen this guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Here's my guy.
But the funny thing
My ads
is,
go through.
Yeah. I'm pumping him. Don't worry, we're gonna get him. And then we, super sus. I'm pumping him with ads, and
I'm just replaying how rogue that comment is as I pick the water up.
So what I hate about live streams is
I
like,
just
cut,
said-
oh shit, people
That's why I
listen to
put
that.
it. I'm gonna so use that in a video. So use that in a video.
I'm
7-figure
pumping
founder wants to pump me.
Yeah, shut up.
Thumbnail. You even got body laughing.
I hate lives. I
love
I
that.
take it back. There's too much authenticity
Go
in
on, you
lives.
were saying about
What was I saying?
You
I was
saying-
complimenting you about
about-
pumping you. That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
But after I pumped you, I then remember saying that I remember saying to my friend that there's so many people who've built these big audiences and say they have the 10 million views. Like, you say, you were getting 10 million views, but like, the difference in that view that you had versus other people was incredible. For example, you can see that in being like, people recognizing you around Bali, people like my friends saying the same thing. And one of my friends, Jamie, had the same thing. Jamie Robbins, he had that like 2 million view YouTube video. And he said...
YouTube video?
YouTube video.
Shit.
YouTube video. Like, imagine.
Was he got a big channel? Or
No.
was it an outlier?
3rd video posted.
You're joking.
3rd video
What was it on,
posted.
just out of context?
His story, he's built a very successful...
2 mil.
Bro, it's like that itself is worth $1 million. Factually, there's no
You
way.
paid good money
you
for
would,
that.
yeah.
2
2 million.
million.
And he said, similar to what you had, which is like, you can get a YouTube a bit different, but you can get 2 million views on like Instagram, whatever. But the fact that you then had people recognizing you, Jamie is now like a micro celebrity in the online business world. Like, everyone knows who he is. And it's like, the difference in the view, and that's all because of the fact that you have those touch points, those connection points. Whereas like, you go and make a video about fucking, I don't know, like a meme or something, you can get loads of views, but no one is interested in it. And the amount of people that I see that focus all their time and effort on just being like, views, I want to get views. How do I get more views? What's a long form thing that works? And I'm like, just make one storytelling video and it works. And last thing on that, and I'm so interested to hear your thoughts on this, is the my reel, I quit my 60K consulting job. That reel specifically, undoubtedly, like from asking clients, has maybe $227,000. It's like one reel of just storytelling, which is fucking crazy to think
But
about.
then the reason why that is, what were you actually, before I answer, what were you going to ask me? You said before I asked this question.
So when you're helping your clients, obviously we're like, okay, building the authenticity. What do you see are the big problems, and maybe for people listening, that constantly happen when people are going to make content and they're going for views content as opposed to like the connection style content?
If you try and chase virality and chase views, you'll build an audience by, yes, you'll get eyeballs. If you do a skit video, I learned this. I was doing skits, I was getting loads of views, people would recognize me, they'd be funny. But realistically, if you want to build something that actually like some purpose, or someone actually gives a fuck about you, like, yes, someone might laugh at you, but then they'll scroll past you. They might remember your face, but they don't give a fuck about you. But the more you focus on this authenticity and how much you can connect with people, again, these connection points, the more connection points you have, the more reason someone has to give a fuck about you. So even if you're only getting, let's say, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views, but you're getting, let's say, these connection points, we'll gamify it. The more connection points you get, the more fucks you are then earning from someone for a reason to actually care about you. And when you just chase the views, you're not, let's say again, in the game sense, you're not building connection points, you're building views, and these views might be a high number, but they might be worth Indonesian rupiah, let's say. So you could go like, that's a good way. It's a currency. Views as a currency is not very weighted. It's the same way you go to Bali and £50 is worth a million rupiah. But then let's say pounds is these connection points. These are valuable as fuck. And it's probably the same worth as what a million rupiah is. And when you build your brand in rupiah,
I love that.
This analogy's gone so far-fetched. When you build your brand in rupiah, you're probably going to get Bali standard, which is like not very sturdy. If you were to buy a villa in Bali, you'd understand there's lots of mold, whatever else. If you were to buy a villa in pounds or in England, it's going to be much more structured, it's going to be much more trustworthy, it's going to be much more something that someone actually wants to buy and invest in, and it's going to have way less problems. The same way, if you build your business purely off these viewpoints and just off views, you will still get business as like a byproduct of having so many eyeballs, but you'll get shit clients, shit prospects. You have to drag these people through the screen because they don't really care about you. But just as a byproduct of having so many views and attention, you probably will convert a few, but you're not gonna have a good time doing it. Whereas these guys are gonna come to you pre-sold, ready, wanting to work with you because they understand everything about you and you understand everything about them. They feel seen, they see themselves within you, they wanna work with you. That brand is what you want, that brand is not what you want. I still love Bali, but I don't want to rupiah brand.
But the amount, I love the example, apart from like...
We're using the hands again. The hands. Whenever we go into examples, it's always hands. We were at breakfast the other day and we spoke for maybe 2 hours and we both got into this position of speaking on like hands either side. And then someone came and sat down and was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, what are you
I was like, bro, I don't want a rupiah brand. Fuck that. I want a British pound brand. And he's like, fuck these two ginger guys.
Yeah, it's weirdos. I love it. But it's so funny. Why do people? I guess it's just like validation.
Let me ask you this, and I'll tell you why people do this. It's because if you don't know how to build a personal brand or a business, and you see guys who are killing it, getting views, you look at what they get, and you don't see the depth behind anything that works. You just see the service level shit of like they're getting views. I need money, I need to make views to build business. They have business, they have views. And you only see it service level, which is why we come in and start to say on like the deeper level to then understand what actually makes the money, what actually builds connection and trust, so you can build the same business as them. And as a byproduct, you might get views, but the views is not what you focus on. You focus on these connection and trust points, and you might happen to build 1 million followers from it, but that should never be your focus. Because you want 1,000 bad motherfuckers and a million grannies. That's how I would.
It's crazy. And the amount of people who have got these audiences. I think it was going to Bali where I met these people. I was like, you're struggling to get by month by month, and you've got 400,000 followers, or you've got 1,000, you've got 1 million followers. Like there are so many, and one of the reasons that I'm actually happy to be out there is because there are so many people who are just completely confused about what that means. And then they look at their audience and it's like, no disrespect, but like 70% people are from like third world countries. It's like, what's the point? You're literally just like, it's a cool thing to be able to say at parties. Yeah, I know. They were like, we both know people who are the same, and I don't want to name people.
I'm not going to name anyone, but I'll name myself.
Yeah.
Do you remember, just out of context, I don't know if anyone does know this, but do you remember those videos I was doing with the fake sales calls?
Yes.
And the closes?
Yeah.
Right? basically for anyone who's watching who's not having got context, again, I was in my skit era. I'm very good at skits. I realized quite early, okay, I can get a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention when I act and do skits. I'm quite eccentric, as you see.
No.
But,
No.
But on the skits, they'd always perform really well. And I did a skit where I would take the piss out of objection handling and like all these fake sales calls, because there's a period of online, even it happens still now, that sales coaches would get online and pretend to do sales calls to show their objection handling skills to the point where everyone was doing it. So I started making these fake sales calls and they were blowing the fuck up. Every video was getting 200K, 200K, 200, like consistently guaranteed if I posted one of them and I knew I put this character on, it would blow up. But what I quickly realized was I was trying to, like, who I wanted to connect with, the people like ourselves from that area, growing up, having the same problems, is what built my brand at its core. And then when I made a skit, which was similar around that, and I got success, it's like, oh, 2 million views. How else can I do skits? Not how else can I connect with my audience and why that original skit that was on brand worked. It's like, how else can I get views because I need views? So I was like, the format is a skit. What else can I take the piss out of? So I took the piss out of online sales stuff, but my audience is not online sales. A lot of people knew online sales because I was in the sales space. So my video then got pushed out and everyone in the sales space got onto it. But then all my videos were only pushed out. The thing that stopped my first bit of growth, that barley peak period where who knows what could have happened, that stopped because everything went to sales and all I was getting was just engagement from people in the sales community. So all the storytelling reels just started to flop because Instagram was just sending all my reels to these salespeople because I was so deep in that and all my sales reels were going mega viral. So then I stopped, I took down all the sales reels because I was like, well, I'm not finding anyone. Whereas a lot of will follow down the route of like, okay, this worked. Okay, now this works. Okay, so I've just got to keep chasing what works and what works and what works. But I was like, I learned early on, I've got to anchor myself on who the fuck I am, who I actually want to speak to and build my brand that way, regardless if this way is going to get me more followers and more views. And this was guaranteed to literally nail every video, 200K, 200K, 200K. But it meant fuck all because none of these guys are going to buy from me. I didn't really want to connect with, well, not that I didn't want to connect with them, but I wanted to connect with my type of people. If they fell into that bracket, they could come into it. I didn't want to focus so niched on these people when I didn't really care about them. And that was the first inkling I had where I was chasing views and realized it didn't serve me in any way, which is the same story I tell all my clients. Like, look, you can build loads of views, you can get this following, but it doesn't mean fuck all unless actually people you want to work with or you actually can serve or solve a problem of.
But it's like people have to, you can tell people so many times, they either have to hear it from someone they know really well or they have to just make the mistake themselves. I've met so many people. The amount of clients I just go, it's so funny. Like, I must have done this with 3 clients this week where I go, who's your ICP? Who are you going for? And then they say, all right, this is the person I'm going for. And then we get their Instagram and we go through their Instagram and we're like, does this video speak to the person? No. Does this video speak to the person? No. Does this video speak to the person? So how are you expecting to get that person in your audience and interested? Because every time you make a video that is separate to that person, you immediately just put off the person you're trying to bring in. And it's like recently we must have 3 or 4 people have just done 10K weeks because of the fact they just speak to their audience. And it feels like I'm cheating telling people that advice. I'm like, it's so obvious, but until you realize that views don't connect to money, you chase the views. And then when you realize, when you first get that message of someone being like, this resonates with me so much, and you're like, this is the person I want to sell to, you then go, oh my God, I need to stop looking at views and I just need to make this style of content. And it's like this unlock that then you become a business owner as opposed to like an influencer.
Yeah, and there's a video I actually watched and it's similar to that. It's like every creator goes through that stage where they try and stick the pose, everything they see online and stay in their own lane, but then they somewhat just consume the algorithm so much they don't realize they're changing their behaviors to know to what goes viral. So then they start chasing virality and then they get this wake-up call where they're like, holy fucking shit, what am I doing? Which is the chasing views. Then you sort of mature and you get to the position where we are, I'd say, as in somewhat of a mature position where you're like, I've made all the fuck-ups, I've done all the wrong turns, I know what's not to do, this is what I focus on, but I feel everyone has to go through that themselves or have someone tell them because naturally you're going to go down this route of seeing that, well, views is working, engagement's working, and we all have mad fuck dopamine. Like if you get views, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Even right now, I'm not gonna lie. If I did a video that even got 30k, because I don't focus on views. If I get a video doing 30k,
Sure. Yeah.
So no matter what happens, you're always going to feel good. It's recognition. It's a sign. It's a number that's high that you're doing well.
Sure.
But it doesn't translate to making money if it's just like that itself, which is the hard thing to do when you've not made money yet, because you think, oh, this is the step to then start making money. And then you go down this route, and it makes it even harder to actually.
Well, that's the
make money.
crazy thing about it. It's like you can dig yourself into a
You
prison.
can get you into a hole.
And I've spoken to. There's a mutual friend of ours who like we've chatted to a few times. Just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. We had dinner with them, me, you, and them, and we had dinner with them, and they were like, "Oh, I've just hit 10,000 followers." And the content is like no storytelling, no connection content, 75% Indian audience. And I'm like, I promise you, you should not celebrate that. But I can't tell them because they were so happy they hit 10,000 followers. And I was sitting there, and I'm sure if you were like there when they were talking about it.
I'm trying to figure out who it is. And
we had dinner in Camps Bay together, me, you, and them.
Yes.
And
yes.
And I was just sitting there like
75% Indian.
Yeah. I was
Actual.
like, yeah. I was like, I want to be happy for you, but you don't understand
what that is.
what you've like done, which is I would start a new Instagram at that point, or at least you've got a massive uphill battle in order to get out of that. And it's so hard to be happy for someone when they're so happy, and you're like, no, you've
this is a
messed
question,
it up.
and someone actually asked me this in one of my clients recently, just started and was just posting. Now, what would you say if someone wanted to post like from their personal, and then this, because I have an answer for this, but I just want to hear your opinion on this, and it's what I tell back and forth, is if someone comes to you and they've got a personal account, and like say for example, we're in South Africa, and all their audience is South Africa, they don't want to sell to South Africans. Would you start a new account? Because I say with a personal brand, it's obviously you want it to be attached to you, but at the same time, you don't want to hit South Africans. So like, what do? Do you go and start a fresh account from like zero when you already have 2,500 followers, which is in just, again, you don't need followers, but it's already some level of social proof and credibility, an easy transition if you've never posted content before, to start posting content and build your name for it. But you already have like South African friends and family, or do you tell them to start from scratch? Because that account as well, bear in mind, when he posts videos, he gets views and they do and they go out and they get engagement. But at the start, it's not necessarily his ideal audience because he's just starting off. But at the same time, if you start on a fresh account, you would have to fight an uphill battle from starting from scratch.
It's so hard. Like,
it's hard, isn't it?
There's so many nuance to the situation.
Exactly.
The first thing that I would say is like, I had a client who was from Turkey, and she had 50,000 YouTube subscribers, all Turkish. Sells like a 5k offer, which is a lot for Turkey, 5k euros. And she was like, I need to start a new account, I was like, I promise you, you've got a limiting belief about the fact that people will be able to afford your program. Did $34,000 last month. So it's like, firstly, before we caveat that, like with my offer brain, I'm like, I would actually challenge him and say, I reckon there's some people in South Africa who would be able to buy his program.
So when he came to me and he said, we need to it was in like third, again, I'm not going to name him, but third post in, I was like, we need to boost the US. I was like, bro, we're literally 3 posts in. You've had a couple of videos that hit 7, 8K within like 3 videos. Like, I'll be honest, if I started off, my thought process was I need to do 100 videos, eat shit, figure out what works, iterate, and then go from it. I'm telling you exactly what to post from this. And it was interesting though, because I obviously see his reason, I see his concern of like, well, bro, I don't want to hit South Africans, I want to hit US. And I'm like, okay, cool. But at the same time, it's like, if the video's performing well, over time, we don't even know it's hit the US yet. We've not had enough data to see that. If we're 1 month in, and it's still all South African, cool. But I'd like to think that from the content we're speaking to, it will find its audience, which it doesn't have chance to in 3 videos. Which is my thought process. But I was curious to hear if you like, oh no, just start again.
No, I would keep the account, and I would say that the best thing to do is to speak so directly to the people in America that you hit them. So for example, Paddy.
Put on an accent.
So put on an accent. Start talking about Trump and stuff. But mate, Paddy. So you met Paddy, right? So Paddy's, for context, people listening, Paddy's a PT. He's got 400,000 followers.
The Paddy we played paddle with last 4 times.
Paddle. You may have met him. I think you met him. Maybe you've seen him.
We've been in a team against Paddy for the last 3 weeks.
No idea what I was talking about there. So Paddy, the PT who we've lost to multiple times, played Paddy.
We had one though. We didn't win.
Yeah, fine.
Wait, we won twice.
No.
I know we won the
the
tie break.
dodgy one. Anyway, so the the thing that he does, which is so clever, which is the easiest way to hit an audience that you're not currently hitting geographically, is to think, how can you mold the thing you're talking to speak directly to them? So the PT Paddy, who's got 400,000 followers, he wears American football caps in his videos, and he's built an audience which is 60% US. Because they look at the video and they go, he's a Raiders fan, and they look at this and they go, he's he's a Patriots fan. Similarly, I had a client who we started saying, instead of saying sofa, just use the word couch. Instead of saying
Is that an American word?
Yeah, so use American words.
I always say couch. I just thought
Mate,
I didn't know.
That's because you're programmed to hit the American market. You're like, I've got to get that money. But like, how fucking interesting is that? So
that's actually a really interesting concept.
What I would say to him, and I had a last example is I had a client who was just banging the Indian audience over and over again. Just smashing the Indian audience.
Oh, that was close. Nearly all over the camera.
And all he was doing was that. And I looked at his content, I was like, the problem with this is it's not, it can apply to anyone in the world. Whereas if he went and he was like, he grew up in the UK, I was like, I grew up in a small town called this, and I used to go to primary school like this. If you start talking about those things, Indians, like even Americans, South Africans are going to go not interested. And English people are going to go like that. Like, for example, I talk about university. Americans, gone. What the fuck's a university? What do you mean university?
Yeah.
Like college, right?
9 to 5. That's an American.
Yeah, you
still
could do
American.
9 to 5, I think.
I'm just trying to think of like common concepts either in your brand or my brand that you would use or be able to signify to a certain location.
Yeah.
The thing is with mine, and one thing I've really tried to knuckle down on is I don't really. You need to be specific, but at the same time, it's like I don't have an ICP that's like demographic, location
which
based.
is fine.
And then it's like, how do I? But one thing I'm trying to do now is like a cycle. It sounds techie, but I'm really trying to broaden it, but also be tight at the same time. It's like a psychological association. So it's like my thing now is stuck but not growing.
Yeah.
It's like everything centers around that,
yeah.
and that can hit people in all walks of areas. That can hit people in all different jobs and whatever else who want to build content. And it's like it kind of hits all of them, but it's so specific to a very deep-rooted pain.
Yeah. That works.
We are testing this out as well. I believe from everything on my
works.
methodology, I believe that would work.
Yeah.
But it's like this is the first time I'm trying out. Like I'm speaking to a person where I'm like, I'm not necessarily thinking of like this is Jack back home in Manchester, or this is like fucking Sol traveling in Bali. It's like this is going to be a little bit wider, but it's like so deep rooted to a pain that these guys online are feeling, and it's a test. The reason why I do is because it is a test. I get the guys to actually do what works, and I think this to be from what I've seen, what's worked so far. I've seen no reason why this to not work, which is why I'm going with it.
I think that works. I think as long as it's specific to a pain, it's still specific.
Yeah.
But I think the location thing is about just hacking if you want to hit a market or if you want to avoid another market. But so that's what I say for the South Africa guy. But for you, like, there's no need to be location specific. Like, what's the point?
for my client who wants to use the US specific, I'm just gonna get him dressed up in fucking full.
Dude,
I'm gonna get him to get like full like American pads, like one of those things.
it will blow his mind. I did this with my client, and his audience literally switched from Indian to English, like straight away.
Interesting.
And it's the easy. And because
clip that, I'm gonna send it to him afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. I know who this is as well. The South. Yeah. I'm like I recognize who this person is, but it's so funny.
You might be watching.
Yeah. Why don't you just talk to the camera for a little bit? I need to use the restroom, so you can just drop some loose game to the camera.
Drop some loose game.
About
what do you actually do when you're just in there on your ones and like you actually realize you're just speaking to yourself?
I normally answer questions, but we've got the.
So I've got no questions. So I've just got a waffle.
Just waffle about what.
And I could have no idea if anyone's speaking. I can write. Is it using this as well?
Oh yeah, it's mute my mic to the toilet. That's good.
Is it? All right. Well, the thing is I'd like to ask a question to see what people actually want. You know what I mean? And if someone wants to go over some things, have you got access to a chat or something? Because I can start streaming or some shit. You get dubs in the chat or what? Because I can go over some stuff here. Because the thing is like if I have questions I can answer, I'd be more than happy to go over that. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk to a camera and ramble, and I can do that for hours. You know what I mean?
Sol did answer all of these questions, but maybe you can...
Even though I just have something to talk about. How are looking people in here? Oh, is there a delay?
No, it's like 10-second delay.
Oh my god, this lighting's insane. Hey Sol, Andrew Smith here. Okay, so if there's a delay, anyone ask some questions now and happily go over them while Sol's gone to the toilet because, otherwise I'm just going to draw on a sheet and just kind of ramble until anyone's here. But if anyone has any content-specific questions, anything about, growth, business, whatever else, if you want a question answering, hit me up. I'll go over it while Sol's in the toilet because who knows how long he's going to be. But at the same time, this is cool as fuck. I'm going to have to come back here. Because, otherwise I'm This is such good quality, bro. This production's insane. But if anyone has any content-specific questions, anything about growth, business, whatever else, if you want a question answering, hit me up. Oh, it's gonna send me a bit weird, isn't it?
It's gonna just keep going.
Oh yeah, should I turn the thing down?
Yeah, just turn it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't see any new chats,
But yeah, maybe if you even ask me a question on something, I don't know. Maybe I can speak on some stuff.
Yeah, I think just
Yeah.
make up a topic. He's back.
Bro, this production quality is so good. I'm looking at myself on here and it's like a little bit of a delay. I was asking someone for questions, but by the time you came back, you were like the delay then got on to me asking questions.
We can get some questions. And we got some people listening.
I think so.
Ah. Hey, Andrew, good to see you.
I thought did you answer all these?
Yeah.
We teach it on your laptop.
Pardon? Yeah, this is cool. Right, this is going to bug me out. All right, let's...
Yeah, I only had it so I could see if anyone was speaking.
No, you're good, where were we?
We were speaking about target position, location specific, but
give me, let's talk more like life. Or like business life. I want to know more. Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you feel like, so you went from Bali, figuring it out, to now like business owner, and you and I both know we've both been working hard. Like pros and cons of the life you built for yourself now.
Great question. I think the pros of building something now is like, I have absolute control on how much I work and how much effort I put into, and the people I work with, the fulfillment I get out of it is what wakes me up in the mornings, and then why I do everything I do is based on the results I can get people, the value they get from me. So that gives me life every single day. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fact that the more people I help, the more life it gives me, the more I want to help more and more people. So it's like that will forever be the case for the rest of the time. Whereas when you are like in a job or whatnot, you kind of lose that spark, you lose that energy, and you kind of just make everything a bit mundane and nothing really excites you. Whereas every day I have a new chance to help someone with content, or another chance to connect with someone, or to build their business, or to make them results. And it's like so much can make me feel good and alive and give me energy from the work I do and the business I've built. The cons of it is it does consume pretty much 90% of everything I do right now because I'm in such a building phase. Like, for example, my laptop screen time is about 12 hours a day, average. Right now, I'm like so busy on it all, but it's the same time, I've never been so driven and so determined to make something work in my life. I've always been a lazy person by sense. I've always been someone who's been relatively lazy, wants something easy. I can't be asked to go in the shops, it's like a minute or two away, or like whatever else. Whereas now, like, this is something that's like, work doesn't feel like work, so I can go at it for so long. And I've never had that. Throughout my whole life, I've always been someone who quits after like, I have like 6 jobs. One of the stories I did that like people might know from the reels I've been doing is I had like 6 waiter jobs in a year because I just do it for a month. Oh, this is shit, let me get another one. Or this is shit, let me get another one. Like, that's just how I've always operated. But having this business, being able to help so many people at once and like constantly grow that and always have this feeling of like you're getting better, you're improving, you're growing. I always compare business to like, it's just a game of self-improvement with money attached at the end of it.
Facts.
Which is why I find it so fulfilling. But the cons of that is because you get so much in the chasing of the growth that it can kind of limit like your enjoyment of life outside of at times. So this is a question that we got into, and it's like the debate was, is it possible to be present in the pursuit of growth? Because when you're so busy in the business and you're growing, you feel like you're moving so fast and everything's happening, you stop to forget to sit down, enjoy it, and be grateful for the time being. And it's a sort of like, that's the pros and cons, is because it can be so fulfilling at times, and it can be literally your entire day, and it feels good. But then at the same time, like, is that what life is for? Probably not all about it. It's about finding that balance. But like, as we said, life is in seasons. Like you won't have that balance all the time. Like this for me is a building phase. Like I know where this can go. So I'm going balls to the wall to get it to a good point. And then when I'm at a good point, I don't know what a good point is, but once I've built it out to a lot more and it's more stable, then I'd be like to be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. But right now where I'm so early on in the business, it's like this shit's gotta work.
I think one of the things that people don't realize about how good online business is the fulfillment part. I think I got into it as like, I want to get out my 9 to 5. I want to make money. I want to travel the world. I want to be free time wise. That was my only motivation. That was all I cared about. And then when you start helping people, you're like, this is so addictive. Like the feeling of like actually providing value to someone being like, you have made a material impact on my life, sounds so like cliche classic to say, but it is true. Like it is actually such a good feeling. That was the thing that shocked me the most about this whole online business journey, is I went from being very selfish to being like, I'm going to get clients great results, but at the end of the day, it's all to fuel my ability to live a better life. And now I'm like, actually, the only thing that I enjoy now, like obviously having like done well for a year, is to then go, how can I have the biggest impact as possible? And then it's like, okay, what, like I can't even remember the 9 to 5 soul who started this, because it's such a different motivation set.
Similar to that, I think mine's not really changed as much, because like when I joined into this space, let's say, for example, I started in online space, not with a business. I was already doing setting. I was only working like 4 hours a day, making like 3-4 grand a month, still in Mexico, Thailand, Bali, like living a good life and still like saving money, like $1 grand a month or so. So it's like, I was never really in a position where I already had the lifestyle I wanted. And we mentioned this about goals and always moving the goalposts. Like 3 years ago when I got back from traveling, I was like, I don't give a fuck what I do in my life or how I do it. All my dream is, and I couldn't see past this at the time, I was like, I just want to be able to have a lifestyle where I can sustainably live in Asia and spend the year there and have the ability to do that. And I got to that point and like I could still continuously do that. But when posting content, my ambition and my drive was always from actually like connecting with people and being like, this hit home, or like, you made me look at life in a different way, or like, I never even thought about it this way, or I did this because of you. And that sort of impact that you mentioned of having impact at scale is why I did it. And then similar to what you said then about how your business is now built off that impact, I already had that freedom, like lifestyle business, but I still wanted and was addicted to that impact. So that's why I was doing like 5-6 hours on edits a day. It's like, how can I make people feel better? Like what can engage people, capture them? And then at the end of it, when I left the sales job, I was like, well, now I need to turn this into a job. But the impact was always the thing that was addictive and built the business off. Because like my job needs to be creating content, because I get an addictive feeling from making people genuinely feel value or feel like I've impacted their lives from the content I make. How can I make this my business? And now as I'm in the business world, I then refer into online business, and I'm like, okay, so you can also grow a very fortunate business by also creating impact outside of just connecting with people.
Yeah.
I can connect with people, but I can also build their shit. And that's what's like double impact.
And that's the cool part, is like the spectrum of like impact. It's like if we if we do it on a bit of paper, it's like, it's sick because you like, just for people watching, it's like the impact is this, like your personal brand is this, you're hitting like 10 million people. It's like you just sell like to that like many people. And I'm like, that's so cool to think about. And I'm like, how do I make this like as big as possible? So that, I guess, is about personal brand, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's literally it. It's like, so for example, on the funnel stage, for example, with the thing I mentioned before about when you're building a brand that really tries to connect with people, but also convert them, turn someone from a stranger to a buyer. This whole thing you've just done here without realizing, and I'm sure you're obviously very aware of it, but for anyone watching, is literally can be described as like top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You want to connect with as wider audience as much as possible. Get so many people in here to connect with your audience. Once these people have connected with you and they trust you, you're then able to nurture them with your expertise and the authority you have, show them you can solve their problems. And then of those people who believe in you and trust you, you're now in a position to then convert these people into buyers who are now already converting. That says buyers for anyone who's watching.
Oh, don't worry.
And
spelling on this channel is
converted.
poor.
And all of this together, they started here, they got nurtured, they're now converted. You still have a massive brand, but the people who want to work with you only matter from in this circle.
Yeah.
And that's like essentially how you can build a personal brand that actually like gets buyers, but also as well, you'll still connect with the wider audience. Not everyone needs to buy from you. You still want to create that impact. You still want to have that value. You still want to connect with as many people as possible. But it just so happens if you want to build a business, you have to do these things as well. But these 3 things are simultaneous to build a business and a brand together. And if you miss one of these steps, then you might only have a business and you might only have a brand. But this is how you build a personal brand, founder-led business that we've all pretty much gone on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Facts.
This is addictive. I'm gonna have to get this fucking.
It's so fun, mate.
Look
how much roll we've got here. I just do this and I just keep drawing.
No, let's do it. Let's think of concepts and like, because this is. I'm not gonna lie. This could also be like little videos and shit. This is cool as fuck. I watch videos like that. So as I started, I was like, oh, I've got a video like that. Let me roll. But yeah, that's so good. I actually got one of my clients to do a video like this, but this is like he had just an Osmo and like a notebook. Whereas I've got a studio and the fucking notepad.
That's what I mean. It's so addictive to have something like this. I love it. But it's like, I think that's what we're trying to do, is that everyone has, the whole online business space is so complicated that just simplifying things down into the most simple ideas possible, like just visualizing it like that, I think that makes so much sense to people. But before you do that, there's so much confusion and noise out there. It's like, nah, just think about how can you reach as many people at your top of funnel? How can you then take some of them and put them into middle, and some of them put them in the bottom and go from there? It's so much easier just to think about it that way.
And I think one thing as well, that anyone watching this who has got their own online business, or when they are speaking in content, they don't want to sound like they're just chatting shit, is, for example, to me and to Sol, I'm assuming when we say these things, it seems so straightforward, and they're like, oh, this has been regurgitated so many times. Everyone knows this, Alex. Why are you going on to this in so much detail? That's how I perceive it. And maybe that's how Sol perceives it because he knows it. But you've got to make content. You've got to speak to people like they literally know fuck all. You've got to speak to your content like literally nobody knows anything, because the people you want to attract are the people who have these problems. So they're going to naturally be drawn towards you because the problems you speak on that seem so obvious, you're now the person that solves them. You're not trying to attract the people who know that shit. You're trying to attract the people who need that problem solving, which is why the simple things you might skip over are the things you need to speak on the most. Because for other people, they're the biggest problems they have. And until they fix them, they're always going to be in a position, a shit situation as well, which is why they come to you. Absolutely. But the people who already understand it, like ourselves, I'm not making content for you. You might like it sort of thing, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, so true. So
let me think of a question for life, because I want to reflect the question back to you. You said, what's the pros and cons of it? You've got to a position now where you've done this for a year. Like, I'm only 5 months in, for example. But like, what would you say is like the pros and cons? Because you've built this from, like you say, from the 9 to 5, leaving it. You said you now want to create as much impact, but then outside of that, what is some of the cons, let's say? Because I mean, the way we speak about it is all the fulfilling stuff. And don't get me wrong, I would choose this life a million times over, and so would you. But it's like, what are some of the things that you have to sacrifice in order on this? Because one of the things you mentioned in content is like, you want to not just sell everything and show you the destination, but like show what actually takes to get there. What do you have to sacrifice? What are some of the cons you've gone to get to where you are?
I appreciate that. It's interesting. I think there's a few. The first, I think, is just what no one really appreciates is how much work it takes to get there. Like, the lifestyle that we both live is great on the camera, but in general, you spend a lot of time behind a laptop. I think that point has been overdone a lot, so I'm not going to just like dive into that point as much as I could do, but effectively you have to work very hard. The things that I think, there's one thing that no one talks about in like getting into the online space is that most people back home are going to think you're a scammer. And that is something that I didn't get my head round until I've like obviously built this business where we're doing well, and it's like, I expected to almost come home and for people to say to me, wow, we were so wrong. You absolutely smashed it. And actually most people went from being like, what you're doing is embarrassing, to now what you're doing is like not legitimate and it's not a real business. And that blew my mind, because I thought that everyone would go, like, I almost thought like I'd get off the plane in the UK having done my like Bali crusade, and everyone was like, you know what, we were wrong, you quit your job, it was stupid. And most people were just like, honestly, I just assume you're in a pyramid scheme. I was just like...
The thing is, and I agree with you, but I do more or less feel just sorry for people who think that way. It's only because they don't see it as without chatting shit on them, because I was the exact same way.
Yeah, man,
and it's like, when you're in that realm, you can't see anything that's possible outside of what is in your realm. So like, anyone who then goes on from making like no money to extreme money, oh, he's a scammer, or like it's a pyramid scheme, or like there's got to be a cheat code way to get to that point, because it's like, people don't people like me or people like Sol don't make money that quickly, so he had to have gotten something that's
Yeah.
dodgy. And it's that belief that like to
Yeah.
then have that success, something wrong or something ingenuine has to happen.
Absolutely.
But then that satisfies them.
And that's the problem, is that then, and I completely, you're right, that's exactly what it is. The problem is you then have to take this poor you approach to their thought process. And I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about family, I'm talking about people that are like really close to me. I hate not feeling that someone close to me is like, I don't want to think it's so sad that you've got such a limiting belief. It's so sad that you've got such a mindset, because they're close friends that I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to think that someone I respect and someone I've grown up with that I feel that a distance to. It's like, you and I can disagree on things, but I respect you. I don't respect people who are dismissive and that I have to then go, you know what, like, yeah, maybe they do have such a limited mindset that they don't think.
But the thing is one real change I've had is like I've been in the shoes of someone who's very dismissive, not believing in something, always a scammer, and I've been in the shoes right now where I believe in fucking everything is possible. So like I always do have some level of empathy for these people because I've thought that exact same way, and it's like if you can't, like, if it doesn't make sense in your world, it's so hard to look past that. And like, because we've been in that situation, I do have that level of empathy because like, I don't blame them. Like, they are genuinely, they don't know any different, which is peak.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like
it sounds like I'm like parting off, but it's like, I've been there myself.
Yeah.
And anything that seems out of your realm of possibility, it's like, it's got to be a scammer. And they look down on you, like, what, so you're just cheating or whatever else.
Yeah.
But like, you've been there. And because to you, it doesn't even seem like it's real, it's just easier to dismiss it, be dismissive, and push you away as a scammer to make their life more comfortable because they know that you are a reflection of what could happen if they made the change.
Thanks.
Which is peak. And I don't want to come across like I'm a fucking, again, preachy. That's the last thing we want to do. But it's like, I find it very hard when I go home to speak to some of my friends because I don't want to, like, I can't speak on any of the things I want to speak about with them as I would with you. Because you understand the things I'm having, the issues I'm having. If I went home and spoke to any of my friends about the problems or the issues I had, they would have these sorts of dismissive things. And I don't ever want to have a relationship with these good childhood friends who I really fucking love, close family friends, who then get dismissive of what I do, who don't understand what I do, who just push it off. And it's a hard like barrier to break. Because I wish I could just be like, no, this can happen. Like, you can be like this, you can think that way. But it's all at the same time as like they might buy into it, but as soon as you then leave, it kind of just everything is around you. You kind of come to what everyone else is around you. Because even when I do go home, the first week I go home, I love it. I enjoy it. It's so good. By week 3, I'm moaning. I'm angry.
Absolutely.
I'm moody. I didn't see my parents for 11 months. I went home and I was like, oh my God, I need to go home way more.
Yeah.
I cannot get over how much I've missed my parents. They're the greatest thing on earth. They are a blessing. I'm so grateful to have them. By week 3, I'm like, fuck's sake, Mum, I will clean up in a second. Give me a minute. But it's then like, and I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. So I do always have empathy because it's just not going to change.
I think empathy is the right word. I think that's what I need to get to, is more like the empathy part as opposed to the
respect.
Like losing the respect for them. It's like, actually, it's fine because it makes sense.
Because it makes sense to me. I will never, like, and I get where you're coming from, and I'm not trying to put it in a bad light. I would never disrespect them because I've been in their shoes. And when I was in those shoes, I can't say there's a turning point for me, it's probably traveling and like leaving that and seeing what's possible and like being around other people to see, people aren't scammers and they're doing it. But like, until you actually believe it and see it with your own eyes, it will never compute in these people. And it's not their fault because I never would compute it either until I changed something. And I accidentally changed something only because I was like, I don't want to get a job or go into a 9 to 5. So I went to Australia and I was like, oh shit, this is life. And then you change your beliefs when something changes. But if nothing changes, oh, that's a cliche term. Nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, but facts.
You get the point.
I reckon, and we've just got the time from Amanda's, but I want.
We done an hour?
We're done.
This is so sick. Get me back. That was an hour.
We're an hour and 10 minutes, mate. And we're done.
You know, just like keep it rolling. Who's in next?
We got Jordan in next.
Oh, free money, bro.
But yeah, so thank you very much for joining, Alex. Any final words to anyone who's watching?
Buy my course.
Yeah, after all that. Just like I'm trying to scan as quickly as possible. So
Nah.
can you buy my course?
No, I don't know. I think if anyone is watching, if you're in a business owner perspective, you know you need to build your personal brand. Just focus on connection points, building trust above trying to get views. That's on a business level. If it is on a personal level, I would just say do whatever you do that it makes you enjoy life.
There we go. There we go. I love that. And the YouTube algorithm will recommend you a cool video about how to build an online business. So if you just check that up here, then you can click on that.
It's definitely my video. And this is the intro. This is the outro now. We just did that fake outro. He's kicking me out. Watch that video though. That's the real outro.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Fuck off.
See you later.
I love it.
I'll see you soon. Let's paddle soon, hey?
Take care, bro.